Hi everybody. I hope you can hear me okay. I switched over to my camera microphone. I tried that as a test for Wednesday's chat, and it seems to be everybody's hearing me okay. So I think the microphone on this is about ready to go out. Um, I think I had that a little bit longer. But anyway, I'll find out what the problem is. Now, I don't know if it's just the uh, my desktop. And of course, things do get old and they start wearing out. Anyway, this is Friday, uh, September 26th, and I hope all is well and you're cheering on your favorite teams. The past couple. On Wednesday, the Seattle Mariners are now American League West champions. Yay! Um, they worked so hard for this, and it's 24 years in the making. And so now they're finishing their last three games with the Detroit Tigers, and Detroit's in the wild card, I believe. And I don't know, I think they're facing Toronto. Um, so anyway, finish up the last three games this weekend. The regular season will be ending. So all the other teams that are eliminated are resting. Um, they probably needed it. Our boys are that, and they also earned a bye week. In other words, it's kind of a get days off week. Is what it's called, but it's called bye week, and so they're off for a few days, and then they start practicing, and then they'll be preparing for the uh, whoever wins their wild card round, which there is best of three on the wild card. It used to be best of five on the wild cards, but they changed it to best of three uh, because they want to keep it the schedule where this is what I think. Uh, I suspect they want to end the World Series in October, which is supposed to be called the Fall Classic, the October Classic. Well, in October is the ending of baseball season. So they want to try and keep it at that. So it's best of three for wild card, best of seven for the American and National League Division Series. That's best of seven. And then whoever team that wins goes on to the World Series. They qualify to get in the World Series, and that is best of seven. Normally, on games like that, on the average, they finish, whichever team finishes at 4 games to nothing or 4 games to 2 or whatever. But they do it enough so it's necessary that it could go up to 7 games. Um, very rarely, very rarely has that happen. Um, but when it does, because the teams are so evenly matched, it's a knockout, drag out baseball game. So, congrats to all the others that got their championships or their division championships or league championships. Uh, and then go on to division series championships, and then whoever they beat there could qualify to represent the American League, and whoever on the other side, National League, qualifies for representing the National League to go in the World Series. So anyway, um, so go Mariners. Also, the Seahawks won their game. They beat the Arizona Cardinals, and that was a knockout, drag out game. Uh, so I don't know who they're playing this. I think they're off this weekend, and then they play the following weekend. They played twice this past week, so they kind of get a break. Um, Now, the subject on this is ICE, the bullies. You know, those guys. I think the police departments and the state police departments need to put their foot down and haul these guys out and say, hey, they are not federal agents. They wear masks. They're bullies. They're not even trained. And you just don't sit there and assault people because they're following the law and they're trying to get things done, and you're sitting there interfering with that. You're impeding. So, ICE, you should be in jail. You should be disbanded and in jail. Stop bullying. Because how would you like if you're bullied for that? They wouldn't like it very much, would they? And the California this past week, Governor Newsom, I wish all the other states will follow that particular method, signed a state law saying that they banning masks for law enforcement officers except for certain cases. For example, if you have to deal with unattended death and that particular situation, then yeah, you would have to wear a mask to protect yourself. But they do have protective gear for that. But you have these thugs that wear masks that try to hide their identity, because if they assault someone, they can't be identified and jailed. Well, Governor Newsom banned them from wearing masks. And they caught wearing masks, then police should arrest them. Matter of fact, I think the police should be posted around to protect people that are trying to do court business, like immigration business and custody issues and everything else. They should be there protecting the clients. And because I'm sorry, I'm kind of tired. Didn't sleep very well last night. They should be protecting the people and put ICE in its place. And they should be arrested for assault and for violating state law if they wore a mask. Now, there's some exceptions on the mask wearing, like, for example, you're fighting a cold and you don't want to give it to anybody, and you had no choice to go out and do your business or your errands, or you're fighting off the flu, or your immunity, what's the other term? I had it and I lost it. Where your immune system is compromised. Here we go. And you had to wear a mask to protect yourself from that. That happens. Okay. That he could see on that. But what he doesn't condone and does not like, and we don't like, is thugs wearing masks and harming people. That's where I draw the line. So ICE, knock it off. Go back home. Quit ICE. Or you're going to find yourselves back in the pokey. And Noam and Bondi, you ladies need to be put in jail. You're not following federal law. You're violating federal law. I don't give a hoot who you are. You ladies are not smart enough to really do your research. And you're not career people in law enforcement of what this does. You came in outside of law enforcement careers. That's what you did. And you sit there and you fired a whole bunch of long-term employees, rank and file, that knows what. You didn't want them there. Well, guess what? You should be in jail too. Right along with your boss, Trump. He should be in jail. Matter of fact, he should have been in jail long time ago. Um, they said, well, you can't speak bad about Trump. Well, that's just too bad because he brought it on himself. He never learned how things work. He never did research. He didn't do any critical thinking. He didn't even know how to. Okay? So people start waking up, start pushing back. And they said, well, you're preaching the choir. So what? It needs to be said. And yes, I have a sharp tongue, and I admit that I have a sharp tongue, but I'm going to use it. And I can't, again, as I said in my several previous videos, what's wrong with you, Congress? Come on, House, get your stupid act together. If MAGA keeps impeding you, lock them out of the chambers and do what you need to do and do a simple majority. You don't need a 60 vote. You need a simple majority. Okay? And start impeachment proceedings to remove the whole administration. Remove Trump, Vice President, the whole cabinet, everything. Then do either appoint a new president, vice president, and cabinet, or you could do this. Do a flash election. Do a snapshot election. Do that. Like, do it within a month or 3 weeks or whatever. And only have 3 people that run for president. No more than that. Because you don't want on dragging or anything else. 3 people run for president. No MAGAs. They need to be screened out. They need to be dropped. Okay? You don't want MAGAs in there. They say, well, that's discrimination. Well, that's just too bad because they're the ones that enabled this. They're being stupid. So we need to stop dumbing down America and start making America smarter. Okay? A lot of the Generation X are pissed. And I don't blame them for being pissed. And as a member of the baby boomer generation, I'm pissed too. Because I was brought up under good presidents. Oh, sure, there's some that are not as good, but there's some presidents that did an excellent job. Look at President Obama. He did a wonderful job. He was fixing a lot of issues that should have been fixed. Okay? They need to stop worrying about the political consequences and start really focusing on problems that need to be solved. And they're so afraid to talk about anything or anything else. No, you shouldn't be. You should say, okay, well, this is how direction I think should happen. And then they need to get, other people's opinion or how they feel on this. But stop this being very political wise. Now, politics is different from federal law. Federal law is on the books. Okay? Politics is not really on the books, per se. Politics is more, how would you say this? Politics is a matter of opinion. but it's not written down in black and white. Okay? It's more like you're in a grade schoolyard election in most elections, okay? Of course, you run across a few candidates that like to cheat, and of course, they got caught cheating, okay? Let me give you an example. This was like close to 20 years ago. No, it's a lot longer. Close to 30 years ago, the 90s. We lived in a small town of Roy, and I was married at the time. And my then husband was a volunteer firefighter. Well, we were having problems with this one fire commissioner. He was kind of impeding a lot of the firefighters' jobs, is what he was doing. And he was refusing to release the funds to get new equipment, keep things up to, keep things well maintained, including the fire stations and everything. Well, he wanted to keep the money in the coffers. He didn't want to spend anything. Well, and then when you go to a meeting, you say, well, why are you not spending on this when we did, you levies and everything else to keep this going? And you ask him that question, he'll bang the gavel and won't let you speak. Finally, when I was at that meeting, I told Ron, I don't care. I'm going to say it. If he doesn't like it, tough. He's supposed to serve the people, not the other way around. And Ron kind of agreed. My ex-husband kind of agreed with that. And I stood up. I said, look, you're supposed to... He kept interrupting. I said, if you don't shut up, I'm going to take that gavel and bang it on you. Now shut up and listen. I said, you're being rude, you're being conceited. The room got very quiet. And I said, why are you not spending the money that we have collected to fix the issues, fix our fire stations, replace or update our equipment? Why am I spend it? The guy kept, going off subject and everything else, like the senators do now in Congress during the hearings, just like that. I told him, I said, you're going to be out of a job. Well, the election for a new commissioner came up because this guy's term was up. His term was up that fall. And he tried everything in the book to thwart this one candidate that we really liked. Matter of fact, he was our next door neighbor. To run for commissioner, fire commissioner. Well, the guy hired some thugs to take down the signs and other people's signs in the yard. Even his thugs had the audacity to go into our neighborhood and take down the signs. Well, we caught them doing that because that is a trespassing, which is a big no-no here. Impeding an election, and other issues. Well, he got in trouble with the Pierce County Elections Board on this. Guess what? He was disqualified from his candidacy. And the thugs were arrested. And this guy was also indicted for that. And I don't know if he served any time, but he was heavily fined for it. Okay. I thought that was so funny. Because he got caught going on to the candidate's property and tried removing the sign. And You just don't do that with elections. You just go with the flow. You know, it's all elections is all about numbers. Okay, right? It's all about numbers, and you want it's more like simple majority more than anything. Okay. But anyway, our candidate won. Matter of fact, by a landslide. And he released when he next meeting came on. He released the funds. He had, of course, had to resign from the fire department. He was a volunteer firefighter, but he was getting very close to resigning anyway, or very close to retiring from it anyway. Um, but got the funds released. We got brand new fire trucks. Of course, we had to measure our stations to make sure the stations can handle the new trucks. In other words, measure garage door and roofing and everything. We had to do a little bit of remodeling on some of the stations for that because they were making fire trucks taller. And we got a brand new ladder truck. Um, or they got a brand new ladder truck and it's stationed on a brand new station. Because we do sometimes get structure fires, and if you're on the ground, the hose water can only reach so high. Uh, they discovered that when the uh, town's town hall caught on fire. Uh, they were able to save the building somewhat, but they had a lot of damage. And what caused that fire and was that there was not enough in the coffers to do updates on the building because it needed to be updated. Okay, the building was built in 1900. Okay, around 1900, 1901, and the wiring was 1908 wiring when the electricity started coming in. Well, that was the original wiring on that building. And guess what happened? They had an electrical fire. And the upstairs area was the courtroom. And of course, the cat was able, the judge had his cat there because they were having mouse issues. Mice kept coming in. So he brought his cat over to take care of the mice. Um, Cat was able to get out. Um, so everybody was relieved about that because they didn't want him trapped up there. Um, and so they had to use the library temporarily for a courtroom until the town hall was rebuilt and repaired and updated. Um, the mayor was getting frustrated when I was in town one day for something. I forgot what it was, but anyway, he was. I bumped into him at the local cafe, and he was really frustrated. And I said, "What is it, Mr. Mayor?" And he goes, "The insurance company won't pay for the repair and the rebuild." I said, "You're paying for the insurance on it, right?" He goes, "Yeah." But they kept saying it's an act of God. I go, "Sir, this is what you need to do. Get a hold of the state insurance commissioner. Tell them what's going on, what you've been running into. They are not supposed to do that. They're supposed to pay out the premium to rebuild a local government building. And when they refuse to do it, they're impeding government operations, right?" He goes, "That's right." Okay. get a hold of the state insurance commissioner. I told him about the story about my sister that she ran into that problem with her house when they had a tree going right through the house. Luckily, nobody was hurt in that one. I was going, whoa, a little scary. So anyway, again, we need to stop the thugs and we need to stop Trump and the cabinet and remove them and replace them with people that know how things work and work for the public. And to get along with the world. Now, many of the world, real quick, many of the world leaders realize it's not us, the American people's fault. It's the leader. You always go to the top. Because they're the guys that are making these, Trump right now is making these stupid, dumb decisions, right? And I'm really angry and tired of Trump's stupidity and his enablers. His enablers need to be removed, like Stephen Miller. He needs to be removed. Okay? He had no business being there. And MAGAs, you guys need to grow up. You need to realize what Trump is doing to you. And if you're saying you don't care, well, I'm saying there, go deep down, yeah, you really care. So it's affecting you. So wake up. Okay? Do a little research. Okay, well, let's see. Let me check my calendar. Calendar. Hold on a second here. Okay, I will see you on Monday the 29th. For Ginger's Chat Show. Now, I'm going to forewarn you. I don't know when it's going to happen. Next month, our elevator is going to be replaced here in my apartment complex. It really needs to be replaced. Elevator's getting bad. And about a couple of months ago, I almost got stuck in it. A little scary. My daughter is planning to have me stay with her for a few days, which gives me a break and everything. And I'm still mourning for Loki. I miss him very, very much. I miss him bugging me. So anyway, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'll let you know. I may not be able to do my chat show down there. She's under a different internet service provider company, and their system is not that well built like Xfinity is. Okay, so I may not do my chat. I might just take a break. Okay. So I will keep you posted when it's going to happen. All right, well, I will see you later. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. And those on Florida coast, North Carolina coast, everywhere, my friends and family along there, especially Missouri, because Missouri sometimes get left over from the storms that come in. Stay safe, okay? Make sure you're well stocked, well supplied. Make sure you have ways of battening down the hatches. They're watching these two hurricanes. If they're going to do this dance around each other, that's going to create a little havoc. So they're watching both Humberto and Amelia. Unless Humberto gets absorbed by Amelia, or Amelia is absorbed by Humberto. We'll see how that goes. Because Humberto, when he gets into more warmer waters, that's what it feeds off of, is very, very warm waters. Um, Gonna create some havoc. So right now it's missing Puerto Rico, it's missing Turks and Caicos. But check your weather report and everything. And just try and stay safe. Okay? Take care. And be sure to insist, persist, and push back. And I'll post this video on my YouTube channel. I need more subscribers. So thank you for watching. Talk to you later. Bye bye.